Well, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by former Celtic midfielder Paul Lambert, and of course a man who represented his country with great distinction. Good time to be a Scotland fan. I don't know about you, Paul, but I've started to pack the case for Germany. Is it just a wee bit too early?
I think they can only throw it away, Peter. I think they can only throw it away. They've played ever so well. I think they've got the points early to get through it. And barring a disaster, Scotland will be there. I've got no doubt Scotland will be in Germany because I think they're playing well enough to pick up points.
How impressed have you been with Steve Clarke and what he's managed to do? Albeit, even Steve himself mentioned at the start of his tenure, he was looking around and wondering, where am I going to get a goal scorer? Where am I going to get a centre half? Suddenly, everything seems to have come together, and of course, he's added his own sprinkling of gold dust.
I think the job he's done has been fantastic. I think we went through a really poor spell, Peter, where we were giving caps as if they were going out of fashion at times. I think we went through that spell where we didn't even look like qualifying, didn't even lay a glove on anybody. I think Stevie changed that, and I think the great thing is you've got a lot of players now playing with big clubs who know how to win games and know how to handle pressure. I think that's definitely come back. And the big thing for me is the crowd has come back to it. I think the crowd have been pivotal to the national team as well. I think Hampden looks great at the games there, and Stevie's got them going really well. He's pulled everybody together, and I think it's great for the country. I really do. I think we've been out of tournaments for far too long, and up until recent seasons there, and long may it continue the way the lads are playing.
Yeah, and of course you're still part of that squad, the last squad to have qualified for a major World Cup tournament, but we seem to make it a habit now of getting to these European Championships. Give us your assessment first of all of Cyprus.
I think that's a tough game. These sort of games I think they're the worst ones to play because you don't know really what you're getting and how it's going to turn out. I think they're the most difficult ones. The bigger games are easy to play in because you know exactly what you're going to come up against and you know exactly what opponent you're up against. So that's never a problem. It's the unknown, I think, becomes a problem when you go into them. But Stevie will have everybody primed. It's just that little bit of uncertainty of what Cyprus are going to turn up. They could be great or they could be really, really poor.
One thing we do know, Paul, is he's got a plethora of choices in the middle of the park. I've never known Scotland's midfield to be so strong.
I think if you look at the midfield, John, Callum are in there. I think do a great. They for me look like mainstays there, and they two particularly I think are the ones that a lot of stuff goes through. So and you've got Andy and Kieran who do great at the back. We've got probably two left backs that are great for us, and just unfortunately two of them are left backs. But Kieran does a great job whether he plays centre back or left wing back, or it's Andy left wing back. So we're fortunate we've got some real quality now, I think, in the team, and guys who know how to win games. So, but I think all round, Scott McTominay's played ever so well. He's never let Scotland down. So if you look at that threesome in there as well, it's powerful, and they're good footballers.
It's perhaps an indication, Paul, of the appeal of Scotland and the way he's got that club feel about the international team, that suddenly we've got a man in Elliot Anderson deciding he wants to play for Scotland.
Well, I think it's great that we can actually go and get the type of players as well. I think it's great they want to play for the country. As I said before, I think we were going through a real spell where we were giving them out the caps for nothing really, and that should never have happened, but it did, and I don't think that will happen again under Stevie's watch. So, but people now I think see Scotland as the country's going well. The fans, as I said before, the fans are right behind it, and I think that's great that the fans have came back to it, because Scotland needs a strong Hampden, and everybody's behind it. And honestly, if they get to Germany, and if you're a Scotland fan, that'll be absolutely brilliant, because Germany will see the Tartan Army coming over in its full force, I think.
Yeah, and just finishing on that little point there as far as the Scotland against Cyprus, Steve will certainly want to get the job done there. There are different permutations, Paul, that could eventually see us. That would be us qualified. I think getting the job done against Cyprus is first and foremost the key. It's not one of those we'll go and sit for a draw. What would you imagine he's going to be very attack minded?
Yeah, but sensible with it. I think he'll be sensible with it. I think the he'll go for it because I think he'll want it over and done, and that's the greatest feeling when you know the job's done and you can bounce into games after that with the pressure really off you. So I think he'll want it done as quick as he can, but I think he'll be sensible with it. The crowd will be important without a shadow of a doubt. But I think when you get a Scotland player now, I think they look forward to playing for the country, which I think that's a big bonus in itself.
Fingers crossed we're all going to Germany. Of course, nothing better for Scottish fans than a game against the old enemy. It's the 150th year anniversary. We've locked horns on many an occasions. Is there a favourite game that you have? I mean, obviously you know mine's is when Kenny Dalglish puts the ball through Ray Clemens' legs. But everybody's got a favourite when they were a kid. Is there a particular match between the two that sticks in your mind?
I'm probably a bit like you, Peter. Do you remember watching the home internationals the way in the 70s and that, and Kenny scoring through Ray Clemens' legs? That's the one that always sticks. Or Big Gordon's header at Wembley as well. So I'm probably a bit older. The ones I thought were brilliant games because we're proper internationals at that time. So I'll probably say Kenny's one with the one that goes through Ray's legs. In recent times, I think when the lads went down to Wembley and won 1-0 and just get pipped by when Craig was manager and Kevin Keegan was manager of England. So I think the Scotland-England games are unique. Yeah, I mean, I always said we could play England at Tiddlywinks and you'd want to beat them. That's the bottom line. So the rivalry is there. That will never change, and it's a great occasion.
Yeah. Do you get that feeling that maybe as we start to see more and more of the quality coming through and our stature rising with Steve Clarke as manager, that maybe, it's difficult to close the gap because they've ploughed so much money into not only club football but grassroots football, and their international side, are getting to the latter stages of tournaments. But we've got to aspire to try and have, as good an international side to try and give a good account of ourselves in tournaments, and perhaps this game will be a good gauge of where we sit.
I think you can never predict them, Peter. I don't think you can predict the old rivalry between the Scotland and England. I think that's first and foremost. So whether they've ploughed money into their federation or their teams down south, it'll actually not make a difference when we go 90 minutes against them. So it'll be them against you, really. And that's the way I view it. It doesn't matter how much they've got, what their investment is. They've got some top players, and I think Jude Bellingham is progressing for me into an absolute world class midfielder. That kid, and I've met him, and I know exactly what he's like, and I've saw him playing numerous times. He's developing into a world class midfielder without a shadow of a doubt. Harry, I think, of a new lease of life at Bayern. Is one of the top goal scorers. But listen, make no mistake, Scotland will give them problems. I've got no doubt about that. Scotland will definitely give them problems. They might have the household names on paper, but it doesn't really count when it really comes to it. It's you against him, it's you against your opponent. You dominate him and then see collectively how the game will go. But England have got great players. Don't get me wrong there, but so have Scotland. Scotland have got great players as well.
It'll be a brilliant occasion just finally on Scotland against England, Paul. It may be emotional as well because I know you hold them in high regard. I think a lot of people will maybe cast their minds back to the great days under Craig Brown. I think he rightly should be acknowledged for his contribution in that fixture and of course in our history.
It's funny, Craig gave me my debut all the years ago, and I go way back to when I was 17 at that time. Ross Matthew was my coach at under 16s and things like that. Les Donaldson was a schoolboy under 15s, and Craig and Andy were around about my time that kind of brought me through. So it was brilliant. Honestly, he diffused great situations when people thought we were under pressure. He was brilliant at it. Great one-liners in the dressing room at certain times with it. Never singled you out as an individual. Collectively, he would probably give you a little bit, but never really tore into you with it. And obviously got that great result when Scotland won 1-0 down at Wembley, albeit we failed to qualify through the two legs, but we gave it a fright. But he was brilliant. and sadly missed, I think. Sadly missed from it, and just a good guy all round.
Just before you go, Paul, we're in the aftermath of the first Old Firm fixture of the season. It was 1-0, and obviously the Celtic fans are elated, and as ever with the fallout from a Glasgow derby, there's always one manager under pressure. What did you make of the game?
I thought Rangers started okay, which you normally get at Ibrox and being the home team. Then I thought Celtic were excellent after that. After 10 minutes, I thought Celtic were excellent. I think Callum ran the game from the middle of the pitch. Nobody laid a glove on him, and he could have done what he wanted really in the first half. Celtic looked so comfortable, but I think the Old Firm, Peter, this is just my honest opinion, the Old Firm is a game where anything goes with it, but one thing you can't do, either or, I don't think you can stand off for players. I think you have to match it, especially Rangers being the home team, where they had the whole crowd in their favour. In the first half, they never laid a glove on Celtic at all. I thought they were really passive with it, never really get going, never really gave the crowd much to get aggressive about. I think Celtic controlled it really, really well. And the goal was great. Kyogo's goal was a fantastic finish. Could Celtic have scored a couple more in the first half? Probably. But I thought their general game was very good. I thought they played real calm football, real cool heads in that arena. Rangers came into a little bit in the second half, but without really hurting Celtic. Albeit they had a good case for the goal. In my day, I think that goal would have stood, because I don't know if it would have been a foul in my day with it. But the modern day VAR and the referee calls it the way he calls it. I understand Rangers people being angry that it never stood, because I'd have been the same on the other side of it if it happened to us. But I think Celtic deserved to win the game and played with real control that I think Brendan will be really happy with.
Can you see anyone stopping them this season? You've got an experienced coach in Brendan Rodgers against, let's be honest, a fairly inexperienced coach in Michael Beale.
Do you know what, Peter? I think the Old Firm is a hard club to manage. I really believe that. I've never done it, but from my side looking in and being in the dressing room for 9 years or so, I know how the pressure is. It's nothing. To an extent, you can look at managers, but it's what you've got in the field of play. Doesn't matter if your manager's Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp standing in the two respective dugouts. If you don't have the personnel that can carry the flag for you, and you want to take the ball in really tight situations, or you're never frightened of it, you've got to have players to do it. And so you can. There's a great saying: you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink it. If the players can't handle that occasion, it doesn't matter how good your manager is. You've got to be able to take the game and take the criticism that comes with it and the praise that comes with it. But you've also got to be big enough to take that ball. I'm just not so sure Rangers have got many players that want to take that ball in tough situations with it.
Yeah, and just finally, Celtic will be looking at the Champions League. You played in it many times, Paul. How would you assess their group and what Brendan should be hoping for?
I think it's a tough group. I really do. I think it's a tough group. And the reason I say that is because people think it's going to be easy. Well, Lazio, Feyenoord, Atletico. Madrid will be strong, without a doubt. Simeone is strong, passionate crowd. Lazio will be difficult. Feyenoord, I think, will be tough. And I think that's why it's a tough group for Celtic. On paper, everybody thinks, we've got a really good group. I think the Dortmund group is really tough with Milan, Newcastle and Paris Saint-Germain. So I think that's the toughest group. Celtic's could be tougher, but that's a dangerous group Celtic are in, because I think, knowing the Glasgow public and the way it works up there, in the journalism will think, well, Celtic got a favourable group, but you tend to find there's a little bit more than that. I think Celtic will have to pick up points, Peter, away from home. I think they will need to do that to get through. If they can take care of their home games and get points at home and take the points away from home, they've got a chance without a doubt, because the crowd will will them on. But you're coming up against great teams, make no mistake about that. And Brendan will know it as well. I think he'll look to try and get points away from home. Even if you get a point, some teams can go through in 7 points now, which is incredible. So they've got a chance. They've got a chance, especially at Parkhead. But I think the lads will maybe need to try and get a point or two away from home.
Yeah. Listen, Paul, fingers crossed, you're all muckers here on the couch on a Monday. I'm going to try and reunite that two holding midfield role, with you and Lennon sitting there and me and Roofe putting you through your paces. As soon as you come back, we'll get you up here into the studios. Fingers crossed.
Thanks very much. Pleasure.
Thanks to Paul. Don't forget Cyprus against Scotland. That European Championship qualifier is on Friday the 8th. You can keep up to date with all the pre-match chat on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel and right across our social media platforms. And Scotland against England, Tuesday the 12th, the 150th anniversary match. We will be bringing you more unique video content, old legends talking about their memories of the game. And of course, the build-up to that match is on PLZ Soccer's YouTube, PLZ Soccer's website. And if you download the app, you'll get all the breaking news ahead of that big game at your fingertips.